The next day reaction is here, and we are going to be discussing a lot of different things. But first off, we have to talk about the injuries. Kyle Shanahan just let everyone know what the status is of Jordan Mason, Malik Mustafa, Matthew Wright, and we have some updates on Christian McCaffrey and Ricky Pearsall coming up. So we got to talk about all those things, but also you've had a night to sleep on this game. What stands out to you? What are things that you think the 49ers can work on? And where do you think they answered the questions along the way? Those are things that we are going to talk about today on our next day reaction show. Still live from Seattle, boots on the ground. We're going to get into it all right now. But you guys already know what to do. Drop an SDS in the chat. Smash that like button. And let's talk all things 49ers football right now. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see it. What is going down, everybody? Hopefully you guys are having a phenomenal Friday after the San Francisco 49ers go to Seattle and they take a win and are now sitting atop the NFC West. Pretty amazing how quickly things can change. That's why we always talk about the season as a marathon and not a sprint, and it has to be evaluated as such. But we have a lot of injury news and things to get to, so we'll get to the updates and all those things. But of course, shout out to our sponsor Tick Pick for sponsoring this show. Also, keep in mind, we got a big game coming up at Levi's Stadium against the Chiefs. Guaranteed, if you want to get the best price on tickets, you have to go to Tick Pick. They have no hidden fees. The price you see is the price you get. I use Tick Pick for this game against Seattle, and if you use my code SF9ers, you get additional $25 off your ticket purchase. Who doesn't want that? Already the best prices plus an additional $25 off. That's why you got to use Tick Pick and make sure you use my code. But let's get into some of the updates from today, shall we? So Kyle Shanahan spoke to media, and this is what he had to say in regards to some of the injury updates. So let's get into it. Malik Mustafa, first on the list. Obviously, he had to exit the game with an ankle injury. And unfortunately, it was like, because the 49ers are already down Talanoa Hufanga. And that means that they were already extremely thin at the position. So the fact that Malik Mustafa is currently day to day with an ankle sprain is huge. He's been playing really, really well. He had the interception early against Geno Smith. Really helped pull the momentum back onto the 49ers side early in that game. Really was imperative in taking that crowd out of this game. And so it's good news that Malik Mustafa is day to day, which tells me he will have a good shot at being able to go against the Chiefs. But we'll have to wait and see how that all plays out. Ricky Pearsall, come on down. Ricky Pearsall will officially practice this week and has a chance to return and play against the Chiefs. Now, we don't know if that's officially when he will make his debut, but he will be practicing this week. And this is fantastic. This is absolutely great news to be able to get Ricky Pearsall back in the building, back on the field, and potentially making his debut. So we'll see how that ultimately pans out. But so good to be able to get Ricky Pearsall back in the action. Now, we did have an injury to the 49ers' newest kicker. Matthew Wright dislocated his shoulder, and he needs to go under further testing, but he is currently TBD if he will play against the Chiefs. That's 2 kicker injuries in 1 week. That's crazy. Hasn't even been 7 days since Moody got hurt. And now we have another kicker down. We'll have to see if he will be able to go or not. But obviously, not the best case scenario. The good thing is that kickers have to use their legs. And now, obviously, if you can't move your upper body, that's a problem. But there is a chance that maybe he can play through the pain. We'll have to see how that goes. But the positive is it's not an injury to his lower body, which is what he needs the most. But again, if you can't use your shoulder to drive momentum and rotate and do those types of things like through your kick, think of it like a golf swing, right? You kind of need your whole body. It's like a pendulum swing. You kind of need everything in to be able to be in phase. So we'll see what that impact is, but he is hurt. So we'll see how that all plays out moving forward. So there is a chance we could see another kicker, but we'll find out. We got an update too on Christian McCaffrey. CMC will not return against the Kansas City Chiefs. To me, this is not a surprise. I really do think that the date that we are targeting for a potential Christian McCaffrey return is after the bye. So I'm thinking November 10th, after they get through their bye week, that will be the target for getting CMC back in this offense, back in the lineup and back out there. So the 49ers, I think, will try to get by the Chiefs and the Cowboys without CMC. This basically gives Christian McCaffrey another month to get right, to get healthy, to heal up, to get rested. And then after the bye, you have an opportunity to get him back out on the field. Because again, for as it stands right now, yes, the 49ers offense does miss Christian McCaffrey. I think that is playing out the most in the red zone. But you want him to be healthy for the long haul of the season, meaning into the later weeks of the season and, of course, throughout the postseason. So getting Christian McCaffrey back is a positive, but we also want to make sure that he's good to go. Mooney Ward is also considered day to day, and so he's potentially going to be back on track to play against his old team, the Chiefs. So I don't know. This is my thoughts on it. After seeing the way that Renardo Green played in his first start, you got to go with Renardo, man. Like, you got to go with Renardo. You got to go with the all first name cornerback trio: Charvarius, Diamador, Renardo. I mean, can you think of any 3 more unique names for the cornerback position? And I want all 3 of those guys active. I really want to see Renardo play more. You saw what kind of an impact he was able to make right off the bat. Renardo was one of my draft crushes throughout this process, throughout the draft process. To me, I thought he was the best man corner in this draft class. For whatever reason, no one was talking about Renardo, but he was a guy that I have been keeping tabs on for a couple years now. So when it was time to talk 49ers NFL draft prospects, oh, you best believe I was spreading the Renardo Green propaganda. And I honestly didn't think the 49ers would target him. I really didn't think that they were looking for a press man corner like that he provides, but they did, and we're already seeing the early returns of what Renardo Green is capable of. So I want to see more Renardo Green. I want to see him and Charvarius Ward and Deommodore Lenoir out there with a little bit more often. But that also kind of transitions the conversation a little bit into how stellar this rookie class has been for the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, if we're going to have an honest conversation about this group is balling right now. Malik Mustafa interception just last night. Renardo Green with his first career interception. You had two of your rookies of the future with their first career interceptions in that game. Obviously, Isaac Garendo had to be leaned on with Jordan Mason going out in that game. He had that huge run at the end to really seal the victory for the 49ers. Dominic Purdy is having a great year as a rookie. The 49ers have really been able to lock in, and even Tatum Bethune had a fumble recovery in this game. So you got to love what you're seeing. Oh, I love it. I love what I'm seeing out of this rookie class. Brock says, Brad, where's the long hair? Oh, we got the hair. The hair's tied up a little bit, but listen, the fans have spoken. The flow momentum is real. If you're unfamiliar, last week, I've had long hair now for a couple years, and I go to pretty much as many 49er games as I can, home or away, doesn't really matter. This was the first game that I've ever been to where I let the locks down. I let the flow go because I needed to change the energy, needed to change the vibes, we needed to switch it up, right? That's what this game was. It was an identity game. And so for me, whatever, man, I was like, you know what? I'm going to let the hair go today. And so last night, if you were on stream or you saw any of my videos, I had the hair flowing like crazy. And so the chat has spoken. I've seen the comments. They're saying that I have to wear the hair down to the Chiefs game. So I'm going to play my part. I'm going to do what I got to do. We're going to let the flow go against the Chiefs. Until then, it's going to be back in its normal spot. But against the Chiefs, yeah, we're going to bring the flow out, and we're going to keep the flow momentum going because we got to. We want to. We need the 49ers to get this win against the Chiefs in the biggest way. Obviously, this game against the Seahawks was a really big game, and we understand that. But it's not just that game against the Seahawks. It's the next two games. It's this 3-game stretch of Seahawks, of Chiefs, of Cowboys. If the San Francisco 49ers can get the monkey off the back by beating the Chiefs and then transition that into a win against the Cowboys into the bye, and you head into the bye with 3 straight wins, and you get clearly above 500, that changes the entire outcome of the season. This is exactly why we don't panic in week 2 or week 3, even though it might be easy to, even though it might be like, yeah, okay, things aren't looking the best right now. It's a long season, and you have to be able to withstand some storms, especially early on. And if the 49ers can get these next 3 wins in a row heading into the bye, it's a new season after the bye. It's a new season after that bye week. So, and especially if you get Christian McCaffrey back after that. So that's a good sign. How healthy is Mason? Mason is day to day. So it does sound like Mason could be ready to go against the Chiefs coming up. So that's huge. That is absolutely huge. Can our new rocket scientist kicker get credit? Of course he can. He did a hell of a job. Shout out to Matthew Wright. He did a hell of a job coming in, nailing his kicks, signed off the streets. He did a great job. He did a great job in short duty. So, yeah, he deserves credit, of course. Cheyenne says, I started with the Bosa jersey, then went to a couple different Niner t-shirts. Last night, no Niner gear. Wore Stevie Nicks t-shirt last night. So I guess Stevie wanted the Niners to win. See, I love it. I love it. And you're not the only one, Cheyenne. I did something different. I heard a couple of their fans, I'm not superstitious. I'm a little stitious, but it just felt like I needed to switch it up. Like typically, especially like on road games, I will wear my jersey. I typically don't wear jerseys to games. Just kind of how I go about it. But on road games, I've typically worn my jersey. And like in 2022, when I was in Seattle, I wore my Trent Williams jersey. I wore my Trent Williams jersey to the Rams game, and I was like, I can't wear it again. I can't after the way the 49ers lost in LA, I was like, I can't wear it again. So I went no jersey. I went back to all black. I wore my Niner hat, but I was all black other than that, and I let the hair down. So, hey man, whatever it takes to get the win is what I will commit to the cause to get the 49ers a W. If it means rocking the flow and letting the hair down, I will do it. I will do it. We literally had our fifth starting running back get reps last night. Absolutely. And shout out to Patrick Taylor. I thought Patrick Taylor was running hard for sure. So even Patrick Taylor deserves a little bit of credit. Shout out to Michael. What a phenomenal game that was. I'll have to say, it really is fun watching. It's fun watching games in at Lumens. It is, because you do have a nice amount of 49er fans. I would say it was probably 15-20% 49er fans. But again, man, when the 49ers gave up that kick return touchdown, that stadium came alive. The 49ers did a really good job of taking the crowd out of that game early with the interception and the early scores. So there wasn't a lot for that stadium to get loud about. But after halftime, they get that score. It re-energized that stadium. And I was like, uh-oh. And I think this is probably one of the better things that could have happened in this game, was not only did you get an early lead, and a pretty substantial early lead, but they almost came back and they cut it down to 6 points, right? And what does that represent? That represents the struggles that the 49ers have had in the NFC West games that they've played, is they have fumbled late quarter wins. And they were headed down that path again. When you get cut to 6, a touchdown puts you behind if the Seahawks were to score one. So it's a gut check moment. It's okay, we've been here multiple times this season. How do we respond? We have to respond differently than we did against the Rams, than we did against the Cardinals. We cannot have a repeat situation against the Seahawks. If we do, all hell would break loose. And to the 49ers' credit, to the defense, special teams, offense, again, wasn't perfect. There were definitely things to clean up, but they were able to withstand the storm of the Seattle Seahawks trying to climb back into that game. And that is a confidence booster. That is a trend breaker. And that is what they needed in the absolute worst ways, is they needed to break that trend. And again, against the Seahawks, against, I would say right now, I think the Seahawks are still the most, the biggest rival in the division, even though, the Seahawks have had some changes. It's still the Seahawks and the 49ers, man. The Cardinals, I think, are at the bottom of that totem pole. I think Rams are behind the Seahawks in regard to ranking in rivalry and division. But that you did it. You had to get that one. And the San Francisco 49ers were able to overcome. And so it was a big day. It was a big day for the 49ers, man. Again, I really didn't care how sloppy it was because they needed to get that dub, and they still had some red zone woes, but they were able to punch it through into the red zone again, bucking another trend. Again, this game was about identity. This game was about making sure that losing late leads isn't who you are. Not being able to score in the red zone isn't who you are. That was what this game was. I talked about it all week. I talked about it in the lead up. This was a huge identity game. This was a huge energy game. This was a how much heart do you have type of game. And the 49ers answered. And they let us know that, yeah, we're still here. And that's a great spot to be in. You know who else let us know that they're still here, 49er fans? Brock Purdy. I heard a lot of noise about Brock Purdy last week. A lot of noise in about his performance against the Cardinals, which I still believe is completely overblown and was much more reactionary than actually based in real football logic. So that performance against the Cardinals, I think, really revealed where you stand on Brock Purdy. And again, you don't have to be a blind cheerleader. Like, it's okay to present critique. Critique is warranted. Football players are critiqued for a living. That's all their coaches do, is tell them that they did something wrong. But again, there's a way to critique. And there's a really fine line between critique and criticism. When you start criticizing players and you get away from critiquing, which is providing value, where criticism provides zero value, that changes the conversation. And yes, were there things to critique of Brock Purdy's game against the Cardinals? Of course they were. There's things to critique on all three phases of the game. There's things to critique with coaching. There's things to critique all over the place. But again, just because there are things to critique, does that mean that the floor is falling out? Does that mean that somehow Brock Purdy is all of a sudden not worthy of being a franchise quarterback? Because a lot of people were making it seem that way. And to me, that really shows where you stand on this conversation with Brock. Again, Brock, no quarterback in the league is going to be perfect. Hall of Fame quarterbacks aren't perfect. Tom Brady lost Super Bowls. Like, it's about being able to overcome adversity and rise to the occasion. And Brock Purdy has done that. He absolutely has. 49ers Brock Purdy had his 8th career game with 3 passing touchdowns and 0 interceptions, most in the NFL since he entered the league in 2022. Josh Allen and Jared Goff each have 6. Come on, man. Come on, man. Let's go, Brocky. Loved it. Loved it. This was a great individual effort by Deebo Samuel to be able to go up and get the ball and to be able to run it in for a score. I thought that was a phenomenal job by Deebo. But again, Brock Purdy continuously pushing the ball downfield. This is an absolute dime to the corner of the end zone, only where George Kittle could snag it in the tightest of windows. Brock Purdy zips the ball in there, and George Kittle makes a phenomenal catch, toe drag swag in the corner of the end zone. Man, let's go. Another touchdown. You love it, man. Look at Brock come enter the screen. Look how hyped he is. I love hyped Brock. I love it. Oh man, you even have what's his name? Colin Cowherd moving the goalpost on Brock Purdy. It's insane, man. It is insane. But again, stay over on that side. If you jump ship off Brock Purdy over that Cardinals game, stay on that side. Just stay over there. Quit flip-flopping like a fish. Quit just going with what popular sentiment is. No, we know what your opinion is. Stay on that side. We don't want you over here. Stay over there. If you really jump ship at that game on Brock, stay your butt over there. We got a line right here. Do not enter. Do not cross. Stay over there. We don't need you, pal. Ridiculous. Oh, but yeah, no, stay over there. We're good over here. We are good. You made your presence felt. That's fine. Stay over there. Stay on that side. Oh gosh. Super fun. Thou shalt not bear false witness against Brock Purdy. Build that wall. Do not cross. Get away from us. That's what I'm saying, man. Just stay over there. Just stay over there on that side. Stop moving the goalpost. These dudes be moving the goalpost like crazy. Just stay over there. That's fine. We don't have to agree on everything. Just stay over there. That's fine. I love it though. I love it. But what I love more is this win. That felt like a playoff game to me. I don't know about you guys. That felt like you can't get any more of an intense game between two teams with their backs against the wall in early October. And honestly, bro, I think the Niners needed that. I really do. I think they needed that wake-up call. I think they needed that early scrutiny, that early like wake up. It's time to wake up. And it needs to happen now. So, boy, I really do feel like that game right here, when we look back at this season, I think this game is a huge jumping off point. And again, of course, if you beat the Chiefs, if the 49ers finally beat the Chiefs, we will definitely be looking back at this Seattle game as the jumping off point for where the 49ers kind of got their wits back, kind of remembered who they were, kind of were able to get back on track. Like there's a huge difference between the Patriots win and this win. The Patriots win, they just needed a win for the vibes. Like they just needed the win after that tough loss against the Rams. They just needed the win. This was a must win. This, after losing to the Cardinals, was okay, we have some potential issues here, and we really do need to figure out if these are valid issues or if they were little speed bumps along the way. And so that's where I really do think that this game again had all the elements, injuries, it had momentum swings on the road, stadium noise, it had everything. It had all the elements of a challenging game, of a difficult game. And I think that's where you find growth as a team. I think that's where you find the ability to evolve as a unit. And I think that this game will really kind of be a foundational moment for this team moving forward. Now, obviously, they got to, I would say, realistically, they have to split these next 2 weeks. Obviously, you don't want to split, but if we're being honest, they really, I would say, they need to beat the Cowboys because that's an NFC opponent. And again, they have to continue to stack wins and in the NFC. The Chiefs game is another energy game. The Chiefs game is another identity game. The Chiefs game is another how much heart do you have? That's what this game is. So you're going to have two of those back to back. Now, obviously, this game served a much greater purpose because it was an NFC West opponent and an NFC opponent on top of that. But you got to win. You got to beat Dallas for sure. And again, for this Chiefs game, it's a monkey off the bat game. You got to get past this team that you haven't been able to beat. You have to. And guess what, guys? It's not going to be 49ers versus Chiefs. It's going to be 49ers versus the Chiefs and the NFL reffing association. The refs had a completely egregious call that took away possession from the San Francisco 49ers deep in would have been their territory, or Seattle territory. Absolutely terrible call, terrible mistake. The refs are getting somehow worse and worse and worse as the years continue to go on. And it's not an excuse. It's the reality of the situation is these refs are terrible, and we already know what it is. The refs are in the back pocket of the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs are the NFL's team right now. They're a moneymaker. They got Taylor Swift. They got all that stuff. So I did say Taylor Swift. But you have to know that heading into this game. That's another emphasis of why you got to be clean, you got to be surgical, you have to execute, and you have to do your job because the refs aren't going to bail you out. You're not going to get those calls that are just going to magically go your way. You have to play a game where you're not putting it in the refs' hands. So this is a big one. This is a big one coming up, man. It's a big one. Oh, no. You're missing the point. You're missing the point. I'm not falling to the narrative. It's to the point where you have to have the mindset that you cannot play a close game, because if you make it close, that's when a bad penalty, a bad flag can change the outcome of the game. So you have to play your best ball. You can't go into this thinking that the refs are going to save you. You can't think that the refs are going to give you the call that you need. You have to go into this game. It's you versus everyone. And when it's you versus everyone, that means you have to execute at a little bit higher of a level. That means you have to be a little bit more focused throughout the week. That means you have to go into a little bit more preparation throughout the week. You have to be super locked in when it comes to game time. You cannot let these refs dictate this game. You have to take control. Control what you can control. You can't control the refs. You can't control what they're going to call. You have to handle it yourself. Exactly, Ghost Pirate. It's just like in boxing. You need to knock out your opponent, period. Don't leave it to the judges. Thank you for a beautiful, beautiful boxing analogy. This is exactly what I am saying. You got to knock out the Chiefs. You cannot leave it up to the refs, to anyone else to decide this game. You have to knock them out. And it has to be, again, another energy game, another soul game, another vibe game, another identity game loading. And man, another big one coming up, but we're going to enjoy this win. We got a lot of stuff. We'll get ready for this next one with the Chiefs for sure. But boy, oh boy, I'm hyped off that win. That was a good win. It was great atmosphere, great win to be a part of and witness. The energy was phenomenal. Still a lot of 49er fans around all over the place. So good spot to be in. And man, feels really, really good. I'm flying home tomorrow. So I got the daughter here with me, getting some work done here, and then we're gonna go be tourists. I think we're gonna go to the Space Needle. We're gonna go back to the Pikes, whatever, the Pike Market or whatever that place is called. So we're getting some work done, and then we're gonna go vibe. We're gonna go check out the city, do all that good stuff, and yeah, I'm excited about that. But I'm excited that we get to do it with a win. Oh, I'm so excited. Hi, Jessica. I'm so excited that we get to do this with a win, and we get to kind of just enjoy the sights, enjoy our time here, and sleep well knowing we got the dub. I would say I really enjoy going to SoFi Stadium, and I really do enjoy going to Lumens. I think especially if you're a West Coast Niner fan, if you can make it to those two games a year, I think it's worth it. It's pretty fun, man. This is a good city. There's a lot of things to do. We already did the Ferris wheel yesterday before the game, and we kind of checked, like, hung out over there around the pier and stuff. But feels phenomenal. Feels great. Feels so good. I'll tell you, one of the worst feelings I ever had was traveling to Philadelphia for the NFC Championship game to realize that there's no chance you're winning that game by the second quarter. That's crazy. I'll be here till tomorrow for sure. I'll be here till tomorrow. We're flying out tomorrow afternoon. But yeah, good time. I like Seattle, man. I got no. I mean, it's overcasty like crazy, but so far so good. So far so good. But yeah, man. What a great spot. What a great place to be in. The San Francisco 49ers get the W, and boy, oh boy, we now going to transition this into a big game against the Chiefs. But we now have a little weekend to enjoy. No stressing about 49ers football this weekend, which is a great spot to be. So, yeah, man, I appreciate everyone tapping into the channel as always. I appreciate everyone's feedback. Always appreciate the engagement. Everyone always vibing, checking in, means a lot to me. So shout out to you guys. Shout out to you 49er fans. You guys deserve this win. I know how stressful this season has been on all of you. I know that it's been a roller coaster of a ride, but again, it's important to remember this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. Try as hard as you can to not be hyperbolic, especially through the first portion of the season, and start to build a body of work to help us truly evaluate where this team is at. And we got enough body of work to know that this team still has a lot of room to improve. They can be better, and they can continue to rise to the occasion. So that is a massive positive. Even though the 49ers are 3-3, there is definitely a different level that they can continue to rise to. And so you get healthy, you get some guys back, you develop more of a rhythm. This team could even get better as the season progresses. And that's the main thing to keep in mind, is that this team can be better than what they are, even as we saw last night. But a good win. All three phases contributed, and you needed it. So good one for the soul. Appreciate everyone for tapping in. As always, grab your cookies on the way out. Smash that like button. I'm out of here for now. See ya. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see you.